Hello everybody, welcome back to the video. Today in this video we're going to do the final album for Led Zeppelin that I haven't reviewed yet, and it's Physical Graffiti. Now the only reason why I haven't done this yet is because it's a double album, obviously. Well, I mean, song names the same as, but a lot of songs on this, and it's just a lot to go through really, so I've been putting it off. But after this, it's finally done, Led Zeppelin. Don't have any more, I don't think. The only thing I have to get is the live albums or the compilation ones, which is not going to happen anytime soon because it is pretty expensive. But I also like to say that there's a documentary out on Disney Plus called like If These Walls Could Sing, whatever it is, and it's Mary McCartney like interviewing people about Abbey Road Studios, and it honestly makes you think and like appreciate music so much for what it is and like for all the emotions it gives us and all the happiness and joy and all that. So definitely check it out because it'll make you appreciate music a bit more. But yeah, I bought this for like 30 quid or whatever a few years ago from HMV, and yeah, that comes out. So it's got all the track listing, and on the other, it's on the other side as well, which is pretty cool. And then if you take one of these out, because it's 2 discs, because it's a double album, obviously. Which is not easy said than done. You've got this, which is pretty cool, like loads of different pictures of the band. And I think this is the first album that they had on the Swan Song label, which is pretty cool. Oh god, I've messed this up now. But yeah, it's really cool packaging. I don't know if it won any awards for it, but I hope it did, because it is pretty cool. And yeah, it's just a cracking album. I think I got it from it. In general, so it starts off with Custard Pie, which is it's a decent opener. The only thing I have to say about the mixing on this is where Jimmy starts to mix Robert quite far down the vocals. Like it's not as prominent as it used to be, and you just can't really hear what he's saying anymore or tell what he's saying, even if you can hear him. Only on like a selection of songs where you can actually hear him. But yeah, Custard Pie is a good riff. It goes on for quite a while. Good harmonica as well, but because it's like 4 minutes. I mean, it's not the strongest opener. I'd say like out of every single Zeppelin album, this is the weakest opener. Like it's just not doesn't cut it. Because then after that you've got the Rover, which is a very good song. Bit long, like cause the riff at the end goes on for quite a while, but it's good riff, good sections, all that. There's not really a lot to say. It's strong, but it's not the best compared to the albums so far. This is quite weak from the beginning parts. That's just my opinion. I still like them, but I think it's the weakest. But I mean, overall on the album, there's loads of creative, not differences, but like there's loads of different styles and genres all mixed into this album, which there should be because it's a long album. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, I think, or I can't remember. I think it's 82 minutes, which is an hour and 22 minutes. But they originally had, they had 8 new songs, which was like Kashmir, either Custard Pie or the Rover, Trampled Underfoot, In the Light, stuff like that. And it was just under 3 sides of like vinyl, so they were like, oh, let's add in other material from what we've done in the past, like from Zeppelin 4, House of the Holy, and just to make it into a double album, which I can see in some ways is a good thing, but some of them are a little bit fillers, but they're still good songs. But obviously you can see why they didn't originally put them on the albums that they were intended to be put on or recorded during, pretty much. Then after that you've got In My Time of Dying, which is like a traditional blues song. Bob Dylan did it in 1962, which I think gave it a lot of, not publicity, but it gave it a lot of attention to the actual song, and Zeppelin decided to make an 11-minute epic out of it, really, because it is amazing on slide guitar. The live performances are amazing of this. I think the last did it in like 1977 tour, I'm pretty sure they did, because Jimmy didn't do it again until his 1988 tour for Outrider, so it's a good 11 years before he did it again, and it is a great song. The way that the whole thing as well, and then like everything on that song is just perfect. Like definitely listen to that song. It's long obviously, so like some people get put off by like how long songs are, whatever. If anything's over about 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, people are like, ooh. But this is definitely a song to listen to because it is just amazing. And there's the back as well, it's pretty cool. That's why I keep messing up, because the windows are all cut out as well. So you can, it is really cool artwork, to be fair. Very cool. The only problem is that the side, it's got like Led Zeppelin physical graffiti, which you can't really read very well because it just blends into the actual album artwork. Then that's the end of side 1, then you move on to side 2, which begins with House of the Holy, which obviously was intended for House of the Holy, but they didn't quite cut it. It's a decent song. I mean, I like it, but it's not great. I can see why they didn't put it on, but it's decent. I mean, it's got 30 million, 30 million plays, so it is alright, but the lyrics seem, the way that Robert sings the lyrics seem a little bit cheesy, whatever, like half-hearted. A decent riff overall, but yeah, it's good. Then it goes into Trample Underfoot, which is an amazing song. A great song. Jonesy, John Paul Jones riff. I think it came from like a jam session, and then it just turned into that. The live versions, like at Earl's Court, where Jimmy goes into a long solo as well. They have longer solos, so it's like 8 minutes, whatever, or 10 minutes even, 8 to 10 minutes, and it's just very cool. Like, great riff. The wah on it is great as well. It really adds to it, and the drumming is just great. Everything about it, and Robert can really get some good vocals in there as well. But definitely one of the highlights of the album. Because then after that it moves on to Kashmir, which obviously is the big track that everyone knows. I mean, I think even before I actually got into Zeppelin, I knew Kashmir. Like, I heard the song. That, and I don't even think before I got into Zeppelin I knew Stairway to Heaven. I might have done. I think I'd been shown it like once or twice, but that is it. But I knew Kashmir, and I think Rock and Roll as well. But Kashmir was always up there. And Kashmir was actually the first Zeppelin song that I learned. didn't do the tuning. But so I say learn, but I did learn it eventually. I can't play it. But it is just a really good song. 8-minute epic again. Just a masterpiece, really. Bonzo gets credit. John Bonham gets a lot of credit on this album because he helps the band like structure the songs, like the long songs, on like where to go, what to do, what he thinks they should do. And so for a lot of the songs he gets credit, and I think Jimmy Page and John Bonham came up with the main bit for Kashmir together whilst working on it, so he gets credit on it. It is just a great song, really. Definitely, well, everyone knows it, but there's a reason why everyone knows it, because it's a great song. Then that is the end of the first disc, like vinyl. Then you move on to the second vinyl, so the third side, and it starts off with In the Light. Now I remember when for a while I wasn't that into In the Light, and then it slowly grows on you, and then it becomes a really good song because, I don't know, it just builds up to this massive, when the guitar riff comes in, not the main bit during the verses, but for like the chorus, it is huge. It is so catchy, it's so nice. Nice solos at the end as well by Jimmy, and very good keyboard work by John Paul Jones again. This is his song again, which is, it's just a great song, really. It definitely grows on you. Like, now I'd say it's amazing. But when I first heard it, I wasn't that too thrilled on it, but now I'm really into it. Then after that you got Bronyo, which is, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, it's an instrumental, a guitar instrumental, which was written for like Zeppelin 3, whatever, when Jimmy and Robert went to Wales to write, and they came up with Bronyo Stump and all that, and then Bronyo was on this as well. It's also featured in Song Remains the Same film, when driving through New York, it's playing in the background, which is really nice. Really nice song to play. It's a really nice song in general, because it's just very relaxing, you know, a bit tranquil as well in there, and top song. only 2 minutes long, so short and sweet. After that, you got Down by the Seaside, which I can't remember which album. It might have been for House of the Holy, I think, but it wasn't. And I think they all like laughed at it because this is Robert's song, Rob Plant's song, and they all kind of laughed at it, and then that's why it didn't get put on the album. I mean, it is a good song. It's got very nice guitar effects, like with the flanger on it. No, not flanger. I don't think it is flanger, and some other effects. Very nice keyboard work as well. It's very relaxing. It does make you feel like you're at this, like the seaside, like down by the seaside. Nice guitar work. Everything's just, it's like slow, laid back. It's just a great song, really. I mean, recently I haven't been listening to it as much as I used to, but it's still great. Then after that, you've got 10 Years Gone, which is it could be my favourite song on the album, to be fair. 10 Years Gone is a great song. It always like starts off quiet with the guitar, with the lowy drops down to D for the riff, because it's just when that riff comes in, it blasts at you and it's so good. But when they play it live, like John Paul Jones uses like this 3-necked guitar, and I don't understand why, because like Robert used to say, oh yeah, during the live shows, that they weren't able to play it before because they needed this guitar, and I really don't see how they needed the guitar, like the 3-necked guitar, but because the bass is good in it as well. So I don't know why John Paul Jones didn't concentrate on playing the bass instead of having to do the foot pedals or whatever it is, for him to do the bass. But apart from that, it's great. It's got like 3 sections, whatever, like 3 different sections, that the 2 that it keeps like going back in between, and then the bit after the solo, great solo as well, very good solo. The tone on the guitars for most of the album are a lot less distorted than they used to be in the earlier albums. Jimmy kind of moved away from that after the first 2, which is nice, but sometimes you like it heavy hitting. After that, you've got Night Flight, which it's an alright song. I think it's one of the fillers again. It was intended for like a different album. I'm not quite sure which one, but it's a decent song. I'm not that bothered for it a lot of the time, and on here it's literally got 7 million views, which it's still a lot, but compared to like, well, even 10 Years Gone, that's got 40 million. It's a decent song, but it's not my go-to, like on this album. I'm not going to pick that one out to play anytime, really. Probably one of the last ones, if anything. But after that, I think you flip over. I'm not sure where we are now in terms of what side of the album we're on. But after that, you got the Wanton song, which is a great song. In terms of structure, it's pretty simple, but it's really good. Great riff. Very simple, but catchy, and it gets you, and the whole riff. And then when it goes into like this middle 8 bridge kind of part, with the effects on again, a bit of a flanger on that again. It uses more effects, studio effects, which is kind of cool. He uses some really interesting chords, and it makes it, I don't know, it kind of sends you like into like a different feel, whatever. It's really good when it goes into that breakdown not breakdown, but you know, like a bridge part. It's great, and the solo's simple but great. The Wanton song is simple but effective and great. And then you go into the kind of acoustic-y section with Boogie with Stu, which is, I'm not sure what album that was for, but it's one of the filler ones from a different album. It's just 12-bar blues, acoustic song, really. There's not much to say about it. It's okay, I don't mind it. Out of this and Black Country Woman, I prefer Boogie with Stu. It's also got Nicky Hopkins, I think that's his name, on piano. Or is it? Or it might have been the guy from the Rolling Stones that played piano as well. I've forgotten his name. Ian Stewart, I think. It's either him or Nicky Hopkins on piano, which is pretty cool. And then you got Black Country Woman. That's one where at the beginning you can hear a plane flying over, and Robert saying leave it on, whatever, because it's cool. I mean, that is kind of cool, because it's like you can hear the behind the scenes or whatever of them making the songs or recording the songs. And it's just another acoustic song, like 12-part blues, which is alright. The drums are pretty cool though. At the end, where it just all cuts out and it's just the drum playing, which is cool. Because then it leads into another great song, probably in the top 5 on this album, because there's 15 songs. which is Sick Again, which has got an amazing riff. It's amazing live as well. Everything. I don't understand how it's only got 6.2 million plays, because it is an amazing song, and definitely recommend listen to that as well. That took a while to get into as well. I remember not being a fan of it and never really fully, like, if someone said Sick Again, like, as in the song, I'd always struggle to remember, like, oh, which one's that again? But it's a great song to play on guitar and listen to. It's very catchy. It is a great closing song. I mean, overall, I give this album probably like a 9 out of 10, just because there is some filler tracks. Like, you don't really need Black Country Woman or, I don't know, Night Flight. But I guess it was just to fill out the album, really. That to have some fillers if it's a double album. But yeah, definitely it is hailed as like a classic album, whatever, which I can see why. It is a classic album. But honestly, I rarely ever listen to this album in full. I'll pick songs from it, but it is rare that I'll spin it on the record player. But it is a very good album. It does need more praise and more listens, but it is a very good album. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.